A very good morning to you, and welcome to the Fixed Wing Guide channel with me, Stuart Lobos. I hope I find you well today. In Manchester here today, looks as though it might have a little bit of potential to be quite a nice day. Got a few jobs to do, so hopefully if it doesn't rain it will make those tasks a little bit easier to perform. What I want to talk about is just something that kind of came to me early doors this morning. I was up very early because I had quite a bad night last night, wasn't well at all. I think it's going to be a short video, this one, but hopefully, and when I say hopefully, I actually mean that. I hope that I get quite a lot of response regarding this video, because I think it's a quite important thing. For me, certainly. A little bit of history, and I have mentioned it before. 12 years ago, my life disintegrated in front of my eyes, basically. And I say in front of my eyes because I kind of felt as though I was just somebody along for the ride. All this stuff was happening that I had no control over. My health went, I nearly died due to pleurisy, my marriage disappeared, the kids went, the house went, the job went, everything went. And apart from the little bit of good luck that I still had an elderly parent, I would have ended up on the street. Now, that is obviously a lesson learned for everybody, that life can actually turn on a moment. So I know you're sat there thinking, well, what the hell's this got to do with watches? Is he going to go on one of his rants again? Well, a couple of videos ago, I think it was the one that I did about the unexpected trip into Manchester, about the homeless village that we have in Manchester, protesting that there are not enough sheltered accommodation for homeless people, etc. So what I want to talk about, what kind of popped into my head today, is, you know, if I go into any major city, I spend quite a little bit of time in Manchester, maybe once or twice a month, generally just watch shopping and looking in jewellers and things like that. I go to Chester quite a lot, which is a lovely city. If you have never visited Chester, please go. If you don't live in the UK and you're thinking about coming to the UK, go to Chester. I spend a little bit of time in York, as my youngest daughter is in uni in York. And all these cities are far from being poor, let's say. So, around all these cities, regardless what the councils of those cities would say, they do indeed have a homeless problem, and indeed general poverty on the outskirts of the city itself. So when I go into a city centre, wanting to entertain myself by popping into the very prestigious jewellers to look at the posh watches that they have on sale, I could go in, you know, potentially with that on my wrist, or worse still, in this scenario, that on my wrist. And I'm walking past people who have nowhere to live. They beg for money for food. I have in the past actually took one of these guys to get something to eat because he literally had no socks, no shoes, nothing at all. So food was a major problem for him, so I took him out for something to eat. You can imagine the reaction I got wandering into not a restaurant, but I can't think of a better term for that, with somebody like that. Once we'd eaten, I went and got him a pair of socks and a pair of shoes for him to wear. Anyway, the question I want to ask here, whilst we, as relatively affluent people, I'm in a fortunate position now where I've reclaimed most of my life. We're walking around with these on. We know how much these cost. We know how much these would be to replace should they go missing. Should we feel a tinge of guilt that we're walking by people who have got less than nothing? Not a roof, you know, very little food, very little support from what is laughingly called a caring society. You know, so should we have that little tinge of guilt? By no means am I saying that we are wrong by enjoying prestige timepieces. Not at all. Not at all. But, you know, should we, as we're walking by them who have nothing, we know full well we have thousands of pounds worth of watch on our wrist, potentially. What should be going through our soul at that point in time? You know, should we be thinking, you know, these guys have got absolutely nothing and nowhere to live, and yet we can wander out, and justifiably to ourselves, because that's the only people we do justify it to, is ourselves. We have these on our wrist. You know, I have to say, have a little tinge of guilt. When I was at the Prestige Jewellers the other day, and the homeless village was right adjacent to it, there was a little bit of tinge of guilt there that I had the audacity to be looking at and thinking about spending £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 on a timepiece. When adjacent to the shop I was looking in and was offered tea, coffee, sparkling water, still mineral water by being a prospective customer, there were people outside who had none of that, were never going to have any of that, would be not even considered to enter the door, which was manned by the bouncer, for want of a better phrase, with his earpiece in and his flash suit, who opens the door for you and locks it behind you when you walk in there. So that's it really, that's the question for this one, which is when we wander into any city centre, when generally the nature of city centres is prosperous, and the nature of city centres, I doubt all over the world, that I don't think there must be a city centre that doesn't have a homeless problem. Do we feel any form of guilt? I'm sure that there will be people out there who feel no guilt whatsoever, because they feel perfectly entitled to do that, and that's fine. I'm okay with that as well. You do what you wish and you live your life as you wish. But speaking for me, walking past people, and I always try to help as and when I can, because I could have been there. I was this far from living on the street and not being able to get anything from the state because you don't have a fixed address. So let me know. I know this is a bit of a serious one, but you know, hopefully somebody out there will tell me that I'm not the only one who feels a little bit guilty that I'm carrying something flash on my wrist, something which is worth more money than the guys who are living in a tent or sleeping in a shop doorway, more money than they'll ever see. So that's it for this one. Sorry it's a bit down, but it just kind of occurred to me this morning. I will make another video later today. It will be back on watches, more concentrated on the actual watch themselves. So let me know your comments, as always, down below. Better still, as always, make me a video. Tell me about your personal experiences. Tell me about the cities in which you live. Tell me about the non-existent homeless problem that a lot of city councillors say. Oh, we don't have a homeless problem. Tell me about that. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me why you think I'm wrong. You know, don't just say you're wrong, you're talking nonsense. Tell me why you think I'm wrong, that I have a problem with my conscience. Let me know. As always, thank you very much indeed for watching. I'll put all my contact details down below, as I always do. Thank you very much for the 2 new subscribers I got overnight. Most appreciated. Love seeing new names popping up on the list. It's absolutely brilliant that you decided not only to watch this nonsense but to subscribe to it so you get a feed from me every day. Until I do the next one, I say, which will be this afternoon. I've got a few jobs to do this morning, and if you're watching this for the first time and you've not done so as yet, please subscribe. It'd be lovely to see you join the merry band. So for now, that's it. Bye bye.